theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, cause I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee
he'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers.
It's Art by Ackerman. It's Art by Ackerman.
Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation.
It's Art by Ackerman. Art by Ackerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Ackerman.
All right, welcome back to an impromptu customizing studio, and my desk is a mess. So if you saw yesterday's customizing studio, my power went out in the middle of the studio, and so I didn't get to clean up like I normally do. And then I jumped back on my phone and was talking to the fellas, and I accidentally ended the stream early. So it was a whole mess. So yes, today my desk is a mess. I've got a bunch of projects that I didn't finish yesterday, and then I've got my community project that I'm a slacker and didn't start on. So I'm going to try to whip it out really quick today. So that the community project is going to be my priority, and then I've got several other things that I've been working on. So let's see. Community project first. So if you go on the Cabal, there's some things on the community project, like for CarverCon. Basically, you roll some dice. You roll a die for your species and your faction and your profession, and then you put a custom together. So last night on Shooting the Shelf, I had Jesse roll for me, and I ended up with Sons of the Red Star Elf Templar. So there are some Templars. There's Dark Templars in Sons of the Red Star already. So there's precedent for that. So they have the white cross on the like black. And then there's also Sir Gerard, who has the red cross on the black. So I knew I had one more of these capes. I believe this was from Harker Customs, if I remember right. This like Sir Gerard cape. So I'm going to throw this on a Vampire Phalanx body. And then I'm going to make a cross on his chest and this shield that I just kind of primed really quickly in red. And I'm preferably going to make it look like he splattered it with blood to make the cross. So that's what I'm going for. And then I found this head, which I actually believe is an alien head, but it's got pointed ears. So I'm going to use this as an elf. His one ear was damaged. So I did a little Dremel work. Let me see if I can get that to focus. I did a little Dremel work to make it look like somebody took a bite out of it, like a chunk out of his ear, like he was fighting Mike Tyson. So this head will go on this body. I feel like it sits up a little too high right now, so I'm going to do some Dremel work inside here to make that hole go a little deeper. And then as far as the other stuff I've got going on, if I can get to it, I've been working on these Converse for my punk skeleton. Let me try to turn that. There we go. That might make that. There we go. So still some touch-up work to do on there. It's a little sloppy. Been working on my Joker, which he is nearly complete. I might need to clear coat the jacket, start putting it back together. This piece I was waiting to dry. It looks like it's dry now. And then I've got a flower for him that I was working on, and a little handkerchief that I made. So I need to finish those and get it on there. I got Frostmourne, which is nearly complete. So I think I just need to clear coat this, maybe put another little bit of this Talazair blue on the inside, darken that up a little bit. but definitely looking a lot better than that was. And then last, but certainly not least, I've got this thing here that I had been working on for several weeks and just kind of stalled out. And I need to finish this up. So got a lot of projects and I am off all day. So we'll see. I'll go till I can't go no more. But that's what I've got going on. I sent the link to a bunch of different chats. I also put the link in the Cabal. So if any of you people out there are slackers like me and you didn't start your community project to the last minute and you want to hop on and do it, I can help you out if you need to bounce ideas off of somebody, or we can just hang out and chat and whatever. So if anybody is off work and you're wanting to do some custom work, whether it's dios or pop and swap or painting or whatever, the link is out there and just pop in and go from there. So let's see who we've got here. We got JMax77 says good morning. Got Freaks Figures. Welcome, Freaks. We got Kyle Robinson here. Says he'll watch on lunch break. Cool. Tanya says, good morning. Wish I could join in. Wish you could too. I'm sorry you have to work today. And then Blake, who was in the air, I would imagine he's still either airport hopping or whatever on his way to Chicago. So safe travels, sir, and I'll see you in a few days. So he says, watching you up in the clouds over Colorado. Well, there you go. There you go. He must have paid for that airplane Wi-Fi. So first thing I've got to do, I know this isn't going to be super interesting to watch because it's going to be loud and I'm not going to be able to talk, but I need to Dremel this hole a little bit deeper so that the neck peg will go further into the head. So I was trying while the intro was rolling to use this like grinding stone one, but that just was not making enough progress. So I am going to switch this to a cutting tool, which looks like this. So it's got like, it's got like the little blades on it. I need to change this light. Maybe that will, maybe turn the light off altogether. There we go. So yeah, so it's got like blades on it. So this should tear into that pretty good. So let me try that. But once again, it's going to be loud. I'm not going to be able to talk. So let me try this. There you go. That's how loud it gets. So get my light back on. Let me not do that over my desk so I don't want to get dust everywhere. Let's see what that looks like. I dropped something. I don't know what I dropped. All right. Let's see how that looks. A little better. I think that might work. I might need to go a little bit back. His head kind of looks up a little bit. I might need to go back with it. So let me adjust that a little bit. All right, let's see how that did. Yeah, I think that's better. I think that's good. Well, I don't know. Could actually go more on the back this way. And, little side note for any sculptors / printers out there. When it comes to the hole in a head, bigger is always better. Okay. Because then you can put blue tack in it. You got options. You can, maneuver it up, down, left, right, all that kind of good stuff. Don't try to do that pop fit bullshit. Like, that sucks. It just limits everything. And, a lot of times it's either too tight and it like can crack it or whatever. Like, it's just, yeah. And then people like me are having to do work here. So make the hole bigger, please. All right, here we go. All right. Let's see. Move this out of the way. Kyle says, didn't hear any screaming during the Dremel, so the patient must be okay. Well, let's see. It does have a little crack in it here, but I think I can get by. I could throw a little bit of liquid green stuff on there, and I think I'll be good. Let's see what that looks like on here. Yeah, I think that'll work. So, little liquid green stuff, and I think that'll be all right. So, let me get out my alcohol swab. Let me put my Dremel stuff away first. Let's try to not make any more mess than what I already have on the desk. And that blade is hot. All right. Let's clean this thing out. All right. Good to go on that. Let's get out my liquid green stuff. So for anybody that hasn't used this before, green stuff, like the regular green stuff, is like a two-part epoxy. One is yellow, one is blue. You mix them together, it makes it green, hence green stuff. And you can sculpt things out of it, and then it hardens, and you can sand it and paint it and all that kind of stuff. Liquid green stuff is really more for like tiny seams and things like that. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but it might be better without the light. There's a little tiny hairline crack right there. And so liquid green stuff is good for stuff like that, just to kind of fill those cracks and, strengthen it and make sure that it's not going to, cause you any problems as you go. So I usually apply it with like a little popsicle type stick there. And then I will get either a small brush or, in this case, a little triangular swab, and just kind of smooth that down a bit. make sure that it gets into that crack so it can harden and fill that up and strengthen it a bit. We don't want that, breaking apart, especially if it's a piece that ends up getting sold or something. You don't want somebody having it on their shelf and all of a sudden it just like the crack continues to go up the head or anything like that. So just filling in that gap there. And you can, like, if you, get your paintbrush a little bit wet, you can kind of paint this stuff on. You can thin it down a little bit and paint it on. But, yeah, I'm just kind of filling that crack there. Didn't mean that to sound dirty. Sorry. There you go. And I'll get off some of this excess. Go. And then I'll just hit this a little bit with the heat gun before I start painting it. Seems like that's pretty dry. I don't have any clumped up areas that I need to sand or anything. So I think we're good to go there. Start painting this guy. So let me throw this back on this NECA headstand. All right. And this guy has like some raised tattooing on his head. Once again, I think this is supposed to be like an alien sculpt, but we are using it as an elf. So, yeah, it's like this, almost like he's got something under his skin, or maybe he was branded instead of tattooed. But interesting. So, let's see, we've got, oops, man, I got so much shit in my way here. Let's see, Kevin says, have you ever used liquid green stuff to make different textures? I was thinking about trying to use it to make face stubble. You probably could. I think there's better stuff for that. So you have like, there's these two. This one's Sterling Mud. And it's got like sand in it. So this would be really good for that. And then this one's called Astro Granite Debris. And it's got almost like little chunks of gravel in it. So this one is good if you're trying to make like doing a dio with some like broken up, whatever, cement or something. This works really well. This works really well for mud and dirt and stuff, but it also can work for the stuff like you're talking about. Like if you wanted to make some stubble on something, you could paint this on, and then you just paint over it with whatever color that you're trying to do. So yeah, I think you probably could do it with liquid green stuff, but I think there's easier ways to do it. So you can also just use like Mod Podge or something, and then put actual sand in it. So there's different ways to do stuff like that. Let's go with this one. And I need to clean out this water. I didn't get to do this yesterday since my power went out. So let's start with a fresh water pot. Let's see. Alexander popped in here, said I want to stop in and say hi on a break at work. Well, hi. I wish more people had off today. I know there's some people had off Friday for the holiday. Some people just didn't have anything off, but yeah, I get off on Monday. So I am off today. Who knows? May have somebody join me later if anybody's free. Like I said, the link is out there in the Cabal. It's also out there in several different messenger groups. So if anybody can't find it, let me know and I'll get it to you. But it's out there if you want it. All right. Let's get some water for my water pot. Alexander says, I'm just off in general. All right. Well, that works too. All right. Let's fix this. I had primed, did a Zenithal prime, but with Dremeling, I kind of messed a little bit of that up. So let me try to fix that with this, with some black and white. So for anybody who doesn't know what Zenithal priming is, there is a video here on the channel that explains it. It's the one where I got a bunch of powder on my face. But basically, it's just, it's a way to make the areas that light would hit lighter when you paint it, and the areas that light would not necessarily hit as much darker. So what you do typically is you'll, like when you're priming a head, you'll spray it all in black or a dark color. It doesn't have to be black. But normally I do a black spray first, and then from up above, you do a white. And so what that does is it hits all of those areas, like the top of the head, the cheekbones, the nose, whatever, things that light would touch, it hits that with the white. So then when you apply your paint, so like if you, like I'm going to do a brown on this guy, the underneath areas will make that brown a little bit brighter on the areas that the light would hit, and on the areas that would be darker, it's going to be darker. So it's still brown, but it's got a little bit of depth to the color. So I'm just trying to kind of fix the prime that I already had on there because I had to do some dremeling and stuff. So I painted some black. I'm going to use the heat gun on this, and then I'm going to dry brush some white, just kind of going in a downward motion. It's called directional dry brushing, to kind of fix that Zenithal, and then I'll be back to square one and I can start my paint. So let me use the heat gun on this real quick. So now that I've got that dry, I can see that this area here where I put the liquid green stuff, man, that is just not wanting to focus. There we go. It's got a little bit of a spot where that seam is. So I might need to sand that down just a little bit. Let's see, grab my sanding sticks. I'm not going to go too aggressive with the grit. I'll do like let's do a 600. 400. There's 1,000. Here we go, 600. just trying to take some of that raised part off of there. These sanding sticks, by the way, are awesome. You can get them on Amazon. It comes with a whole set of them that goes from 80 grit up to 7,000. And it's like fairly cheap. So highly recommend, FYI. All right, that looks better. It's a little bit more smooth. Let me put a little bit more black on there now. Okay. Let's see. Alexander says, literally just spent 9 a.m. to 9:45 on stuff for CarverCon. I got a lot done and not enough at the same time. Then he says, what is the character that you rolled? So it is a Red Star Elf Templar. So there's Jeff Evans, old Cosmic Jeff, says, hi, hello, howdy. And then Alexander just saying hi to Jeff. All right. Go. All right. So now that I got the black on there, now it's time to do some dry brushing of the white to get that zenithal back where it needs to be. Let me let's grab this new number 6 from the new set. I use the back of my hand because when you go to dry brush, you want to get a lot of the paint off of the brush first. And if you just use like the paper towel, like I started to there, if you use that until it gets to the point where you're ready to dry brush, what it happens is it absorbs the medium in the paint. So it has no moisture to it. And then it comes out looking like chalky. Whereas if you use like a piece of plastic or the back of your hand or something, it takes a lot of the paint off without removing the medium in the brush, the moisture. And so you end up with, kind of where you want it to be in terms of dry brushing, to where it's not dry and chalky. So, and then what I'm doing right now is just doing what we call directional dry brushing. So I'm dry brushing in a downward angle, and just trying to hit those raised areas. Nothing like waiting to the last minute for your community project. I told myself, well, there's going to be a lot of people doing the community project. If I don't do mine, nobody's going to really know. And then I outed myself last night on the show, and then I felt guilty. So think that looks pretty good. It's a pretty good starting point on here. Let me take the light off of there. So you can see, like, if you look from underneath, it looks darker. If you look from up above, it's whiter. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So, all right, let's go ahead and actually, let me get some of that out of this brush real quick, because dry brushes, because you're kind of saturating them with the paint and then drying a lot of it off, if you just let them sit, they will get really hard. So you kind of want to make sure that you clean them pretty quickly, unless you're planning on reusing it for that same color again. All right, so let's go ahead and start base coating this thing. And I'm going to use this brown. This is the So Flat Burnt Umber. So I'm going to use that as kind of my base for this character skin tone. Get a little water over here. All right. Here we go. Doing a little stippling first rather than brushing with the brush. Stippling is where you kind of like dab it. And part of that is because I just applied that that zenithal priming, and if I don't want to brush too hard and pull up that white with the brown, I want this to kind of lay on top of it. And then the other part is that skin is not like all smooth one color, and so the stippling kind of gives you a little bit of a speckled look that is natural within skin. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And then I'll dry that and apply more of a smooth coat on top of that. Oh, looks like I'm about to have a visitor. Buddy's bed's coming out, so he's going to be out here hanging out with me apparently. So now I'm applying just a thin layer of that same color over top, kind of smoothing it out a little bit. Now this is pretty early on. Still need to blend this quite a bit and smooth it out, but you can see some of the like the raised areas in his brow and nose and stuff are a little bit lighter than the underneath, but it's also very blotchy. I need to really kind of smooth some of that out, and I'm going to start using some of the lighter color brown on this as well. So I'll give it one more light coat of this darker brown. And then I'm going to start using some of the lighter brown and some of it mixed with a little bit of red and that kind of thing. So let's do one more layer of this. And at this point, it's, you know, my paint is very diluted, very, very wet. I've heard people call it like the consistency of milk. If you think of like 2% milk, that's kind of what you want at this stage when you're applying thin layers. So when you're first base coating and you want, like, if you want it to be thicker, you don't have to use as much water or medium to kind of thin it down. But as you get into doing like the multiple, you know, thin layers to try to smooth it out, you want to make sure that you've got it, you know, you've added enough water or medium to thin those paints. So if you're applying a bunch of thick layers, you're going to have some clumpiness. You're going to have it just not look great. So you want to get good at thinning your paints, and a wet palette really does help with that quite a bit. So, all right. So now we've got kind of the base where I want it to be for that skin tone. But I want to start adding in some lighter browns and even a little bit of red possibly in there. So I'm going to go to my go-to kind of, this is my favorite brown, which is this Mournfang brown. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to the, or, you know, some of the paint that I already had to this. And then when we get to like the cheekbones and stuff, we'll add a little bit of red as well. So take some of this, bring that up here. And this is just a good way to, if you've got two colors that you're trying to blend naturally, good way to do it is to take the original color and mix some of it with the new color. That'll help you kind of get to an in-between the two. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to switch to sponge, and let's go ahead and get this a little bit wet in my water there, and apply some of this new color that we just mixed to it. And I'm using a sponge because of the pores in the sponge, it allows you to get a very cool textured skin tone that has pores much like your face would. So I've been using a lot of sponges lately, and I really like the way that it comes out, especially for skin tones. It kind of does what dry brushing does for really textured surfaces. So like if you've got, like in this hair is really textured. So when I dry brush it, what it's going to do is it's going to hit the raised areas, but not hit the recesses. And it's going to look really cool. Well, when you've got something flat, like this guy's skin, like his face, you can't just dry brush it. It's not gonna look the same as if you're dry brushing a textured area. But with these sponges, you can get that same kind of thing where you've got you're hitting the areas you want to hit with the lighter color, but leaving the areas that you don't want to, kind of alone. So this is just a really, really fun way to kind of do skin with the sponge here. And I don't know that it's going to show really well. Let me try to take the light off for here. Let me see if it shows better without the light. But it starts looking really smooth. See that now? So, when I first started this, when I was putting that first layer on and doing the stippling, it looked like dog shit. And sometimes your stuff will look bad before it looks good. Don't get frustrated. As long as you're doing thin layers and you're not caking it on to where it's obscuring the details, it'll get better as you go. So don't freak out if it looks a little shitty at first. That's fine. That's natural. So, all right. So his skin tone looks really freaking good right now. Like, I'm really happy with that. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of red to that same skin tone and only apply it to like the cheeks and the nose. So we'll do a little Mephiston red. Just do a little drop here. And then let's go with this one. Just take a little bit of that red and add it up here. Just the tiniest bit. You don't need a lot. And once again, I'm still, so I started with this color. I took this color and added it to the Mournfang brown. I'm now taking the Mephiston red and adding it to the Mournfang brown that had the burnt umber in it. So I'm never like just using a new color by itself. The new color is being added to the other color that I was already using, right? So I started with color A. Color A got added with color B. Color A and B together got added to color C. And so then when you're doing this stuff, you get this like very natural blend to it. And it's not, it doesn't look like there's these harsh transitions. So let's see. Kyle says he's going back to work. Have fun, sir. Have fun. And, I understand I'm mostly talking to myself here, and that's fine. Somebody may stumble upon this later and something I say might help them, or it might just keep me occupied and, keeps me going customizing because I have something to do by talking. So if I get annoying, just, find something else to watch. So right now I'm using this sponge. This is a little sponge. They come in, I got a pack of these for like $6.50, a whole bunch of these like little makeup sponges. And I'm taking that new color that is the Mournfang brown with the burnt umber with the Mephiston red. And I'm just going to get a lot of that paint off before I apply this to that head sculpt. So just trying to get some of that off of here. Okay. So that's about what I'm looking for. I want to be able to dab that and not have it just completely cover what's underneath. So, all right. So here I'm just going to be focusing on the cheekbones and the nose with this. So. Might hit the ears up too. Just kind of like the outside and like the bits that are kind of raised on the inside. we go. That looks pretty dang good. Pretty happy with that. Now, that color that I just mixed with the Mournfang Brown and the Burnt Umber and the Mephiston Red, when I apply it with a sponge, it's giving a very light version of that, right? Like it's not going to be as saturated because I've taken a lot of it off on my hand and stuff. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use it directly. So I'm not using a sponge. I'm not dry brushing it or anything like that. I'm applying it directly and I'm putting it on the lips. So just going to hit this bottom lip first. And I'm trying not to hit the crevice between the lips. Just applying it to the lip itself. Do the same thing to the upper lip. That's Buddy shaking. Now, that's what that looks like. I think it came out a little bit too bright, but paint always looks a little darker when it dries. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit and see if that gets where I need it to. If not, I might have to do a little correction there. So yeah. So I think what I might do is take some of this original color, this dark umber, and then take some of that new color, mix it together. That way it'll darken it up just a little bit. A little bit more of that dark umber. All right. There we go. All right. Let's see. What do we got next? We're going to work on his hair, I believe. And I also need to see what color eye I'm going to do. Because I think I'm going to match him to, as far as eye color goes, I think I'm going to try to do the Bardrick, which I think he's got green eyes. So let me take a look. And that's under Lord Bardrick. Yeah, he's got like a light green, almost like a lime green eye. So we'll try to do that. And does he have, doesn't really have anything around it like black or anything. So I think what we're going to do is let me see, how do I want to do this? I think I'm just going to use this green here, this yellow green So Flat. It's pretty bright. I don't know if I got the right brush for this. No, I think I'm gonna probably need a smaller brush. Okay, let's go to the 5/0. Tanya says, I'm learning a lot. This is fantastic. Oh, well, maybe I need to talk more often. I also don't know that any of the things that I'm saying are correct. They're just how I do it. So I guess I should probably put that out there as a disclaimer. So that does pop pretty well. I like that. So sorry if I'm a little quiet right now, but I'm working on eyes. So anybody that's worked on eyes, this is typically the quiet portion. I just threw my brush, but I caught it. Look at that. Held it against the table with my arm. Didn't hit the floor, folks. Doesn't count. That's not an oopsie. Get your finger off the button, Kevin. That's the rule. If it doesn't hit the floor, it's not an oopsie. I just made up that rule, by the way. But I like it. I'm going to stick to it. All right. Try to get this eye has like a little tail in the corner. And I got it on the one. I got to try to get it on this other one. There we go. Nice. All right. So I think we're going to call that good. We're going to start doing some of the facial hair, which I think we're going to do black. And I probably need to switch brushes again. This one's too small. Let's go with let's try this angled spotter brush. That's a nice one. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. We've got Harpo Quandrax here. It says, hiya. Hey, how's it going? So I'm just continue to work on this facial hair real quick. And I'm not doing a straight line across. I'm trying to do up and down as if I'm painting each individual hair. That way towards the top of it, like where the beard line is meeting like the cheeks and stuff, it'll be a little bit jagged, and it won't look like one solid line. It'll look like actual hair follicles. So at least that's the goal. So okay. Now I'm at the bottom part, so I'm going to switch to a little bit bigger brush. We'll go with the 3/0. He says, I'm new to Mythic Cosmic Legions. Just pre-ordered the whole Oxcrew wave I missed. Well, very cool. Very cool. So just doing some customizing, doing some painting right now for the community project for CarverCon. I put out a post in the Mythic Legions Cabal, as well as the link to this, so that anybody that is finishing up some customizing for CarverCon can hop in and paint or sculpt or whatever they got to do. So if anybody feels so inclined, the link is out there in the Cabal, and feel free to jump on. But this is my community project for CarverCon. The community project is a fun thing that Brian's doing, where he put out a thing where you roll a die for your faction. You roll a die for your species, and then you roll a die for your profession. And then based on what you roll, you then make that character as a custom for the community project. So this one is a Sons of the Red Star elf Templar. So that's what we're working on here. To take a look at Bardrick's eyebrows. So they're kind of straight across. Trying to use that as kind of my base here. Okay. Start working on his hairline. Let's see. It says, I love it. Are you getting Baethyr? Yes. I ordered 3 Baethyrs. So I've got 1 to keep as is, and then 2 to customize. So that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, I know for sure one of my customs for Baethir is going to be a Granomir, which is the dragon from Masters of the Universe. And I'm planning on doing the red version, which is really more kind of pinkish purple. But yes, so red Granomir for one of the customs, and then the other one, I'm not positive what I'm doing yet. But I did look up, there was something called a wolf dragon that is basically like a dragon with fur. Kind of, I guess if I was to compare it to something, I would say similar to like the Falkor from Neverending Story. That would be like the closest comparison I would say. But if you look up wolf dragon, there's some pictures that are pretty cool out there, and I think that might be my second one. So not positive yet, but that's the direction I'm leaning for that. So I think it would be cool to kind of add some fur, like actual like rooted fur to the dragon. So we'll see if I'm able to get that accomplished. So let's see. I have no idea what my wife just did. She just posted something in a group, and I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, but she's adorable, folks. All right. Let's finish this part. And I think that's looking pretty good. So I still need to do this like raised tattooing on his head. And then he's got a few earrings here that I need to do. So, but this is what that's looking like so far. So he's looking pretty good. Let's see. Pickle D jumped in. Hello. Hey, sir. Harpo says, I was gay married, now I'm gay divorced, no spouse for me. All right, well, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. wish you the best. I lucked out for sure. I'm part of my wife is more popular than me in the community club support group, as it were. So that's one of the dangers of bringing your spouse into the community, is them becoming more popular than you. But but that's all right. She's saying that she's not from the other room, but she clearly is. So all right, now I got to figure out what I'm doing with this tattooing. And I think I want to do it in kind of a reddish color, but where it still kind of has a little bit of that brown too. So hold on, I need to touch up this one little spot. There we go. All right. So let's see. It was ages ago for the best, and we're still friends. Well, that's good. That's good. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe go to this burnt sienna, because it has a little bit of a reddish to it anyway. Brown with some red. I might try that first and then see if that looks good enough, or if I feel like I need to add some more red. So let's take a look. They're like little, like sequential rectangles, like raised on his head. So once again, I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. Not sure if it's supposed to be something under his skin, or like he was branded, or what the deal is. But it's cool, and I'm just gonna have some fun with this. So let's see. This is very intricate detail. So if I get a little quiet, that's what's going on here. Keep looking back to see if anybody else has jumped in, but alas, so far, it is just me. So let's see if I can, I don't know if this is going to be better with. So that's kind of what that looks like. You can see a little bit right there. So I'm liking that. It's not too, doesn't stand out too much, but it is noticeable. I don't know. I don't know if I want to add more red to that or not. I need to get Darla's advice on this one. Yeah. So he's got like this raised skin. I don't know if it's like a branding or something under his skin. Do you like that color, or should I add more red to it?
I think more red.
Make it stand out a little bit more. Okay. All right. She has spoken, folks. So we're going to add a little bit more red to that. So let's take some of this Mephiston that we already laid down. Bring that over here. Mixing the burnt sienna and the Mephiston together, so we can kind of gradually change the color and not have it be too aggressive. All right. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I think she was right. This is looking better. I didn't go full red, but just a little bit of red to the burnt sienna, I think is a good call. Yeah, I think I like this better. It still looks like somewhat natural because it's got some of the brown in it, but it definitely pops a little bit more. Let me just get some light on this. So yeah, I'm liking that. It's cool. I might even go a little bit more red. Yeah, let's add a little bit more of that Mephiston red. Don't want to get carried away, but I think a little bit more might be good. And because I'm gradually going up, you'll still have some of those other colors kind of mixed in with it too. So I think this will work well. Clean my brush out. Okay. Get a nice point on here. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. I like that. yeah, I'm happy with how that turned out. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Yeah, that looks pretty neat. That looks pretty neat. So, all right, let's fix this hair because I see some white spots shining through. Okay. And I think this is about good. Got to do the earrings on this, and then the damaged ear where I had the bite taken out of it. I want to add a little bit of red to that. So I'm going to take this color up here that we used for like the lips and add a little bit to that chunk area. Let's even add a little bit more red. Like some goblin or something bit his ear. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if that's going to show, but let's try doing it without the light. Yeah, just a little bit of a reddish brown there. So, all right, I think we got to do the earrings, and then I think this one's good. Let's see, what do we want to use for that? There's a lot of dark colors on here. Let's go with a copper. Let's see. Harpo says, did you go to school for any of this or just lots of practice? Dude, I was the least artistic kid like ever. I didn't draw in notebooks like other kids. I did nothing. So this is all kind of just as an adult playing with toys and having fun. And I would still say that I'm not very good. I know that sounds like one of those people that's just trying to be humble, but it's not. Like, I'm really not great at this. What I am is persistent, and I will keep going until it looks the way I want it to look. And so normally something like this, like I've only, we got 4 days till CarverCon. I wouldn't start on a new custom, but kind of the challenge is on right now. But yeah, normally this stuff takes me a long time. Coda Forge Photography jumps in. Good morning, Ohio Basher. I kid, of course. Just jerked your chain. Hey man, I was born there, so I still got some love for Ohio, but man, there's not a lot there. And then he says, "Wow, that looks awesome." Well, thank you, appreciate that. So, all right. So I'm not gonna put any of this on my wet palette because I'm just doing a little tiny spot. So this is Screaming Bell, which is like a copper. And let me get my angle spotter brush, the MVP of my new brush set. And let's get a little bit of that on here. And put this out of the way so I don't knock it over. And let's try to hit these earrings real quick. I was just sitting there looking at it going, where did the earrings go? I was looking at the wrong ear. So, all right. So that looks pretty good. I did get a little bit of copper on the inside of the ear. So I'm going to grab one of these little cotton swabs and just try to see if I can't wipe that off of there so I don't have to repaint that part. Yep. So here we go. So I think we're going to call that a done head sculpt. So that guy looks pretty good. Let that dry for a little bit. Still need to clear coat it, gloss the eyes, all that kind of good stuff. But otherwise, we're going to call that complete. And now we need to start working on this. So we have got, let's see. Tanya says, of course, you got to bring out the angled spotter brush. I brought it up earlier. You didn't say anything. You must have got busy at work. Let's see. Just moved back to Wisconsin after 15 years in Seattle. These winters are for the bird. Man, I love winter up north. Oh, so good. Code Forge Photography. I knew you would say something. This would be for sale at CarverCon. Sure. I mean, it's for the community project. Oh, look at this. I thought I had one set of these Sir Gerard capes in there. I had two sets. Beautiful. That means that I'll still have a spare after using this. Look at that. I'm hashtag winning today. So let me throw this extra set back in the bag. So what I've got here, let me pop this guy apart. So I have got a loin piece here for him, which I might still use this. We'll see. But if so, I'm going to put paint on it. So he's got that loin piece, and then I'll have the cape on the back. And then I'm going to put the kind of bloody cross on the chest, and then I'll extend that down into the lower part. So, okay. So let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's go with, let's maybe try to paint a really detailed looking cross first, and then I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to bloody it up. Let's go to Sir Gerard, see what we're working with. That'll be our baseline. Okay. I wonder if I've got a Sir Gerard torso in there. I might have. Let me see if I got a spare one. I don't think I do, but let me take a look. Torsos. All right. So these are the containers that I use for all of my extra parts. And let's see if we just happen to have a Sir Gerard one. I don't know that we do, but we've got some regular Templar ones. No. We definitely don't have a Sir Gerard one. Okay. I can use this as kind of a baseline for the cross to paint one. So, all right. So let me close this. Need a collection like that. Yeah, it builds up over time, that's for sure. So move these shoes out of the way. All right, so this is going to be our baseline. So you got the X going across and then like the little arrows at the end. This torso isn't as it's not as flat as that one, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Let's go ahead and I wonder if I should scuff this guy up some. Because I could sand this part down a bit. Nah, listen, we got 4 days. Come on, folks. We're not going to get crazy. All right. Don't get crazy, Curtis. Okay. So let's start off with taking the neck peg out. Let's pull this collar piece off because this definitely needs some red in here. Let's go with 2/0 brush. Let's get some more Mephiston red. Where did that go? Here it is. Let's get some more Mephiston red in here. Let's see. Code of Forge Photography says, I don't have enough extras that I feel comfortable customizing most stuff. Don't want to ruin it, you know. Good thing to do is to pick up like one of Legion's concepts, just like the one that they showed the other day, that Necropolis at Duskvale, because it comes with so much extra stuff that you can, you know, just start with some popping and swapping, like trying different combinations of parts. And then, you know, as far as painting goes, like one thing you could do is, so like right now, I'm going to take this collar piece and I'm just going to paint this middle part red, right? And similar to what is on this Sir Gerard. And so when you look at this, like the lines are already sculpted there. So all you're doing is just like when you were coloring as a kid, right? Like you color inside the lines. Same thing here. Like I'm just going to paint inside those lines that are already sculpted there. So I'm just going to take some red and just paint inside those lines. And that's a good way to start, is just, you know, take the lines that are already there, paint inside of it, pretend like you're coloring as a kid. I remember I would, when I was younger and I would be coloring, it would be like me and my sister coloring together. And my sister did not stay inside the lines. Like she would just color whatever. And I would get so mad and I would say, she's scribbling again. And, you know, my mom thought that was pretty funny. So she's scribbling, but I always had to stay inside the lines. So there you go. Quick, easy, couple paint strokes, and you've now changed the look of that thing from being just black. You know, this Vampire Phalanx was a $25 figure, and now you've added a splash of color to it just by painting inside those lines. So pretty easy, pretty quick. Little effort goes a long way with that kind of thing. So definitely want that new elf set if I can get someone to pick it up for me. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, any of the Legion's concepts are really good. A lot of them you can still get, like Furious Force set is a really good one from like 3 years ago, and you can still get it for the same price as it was at the convention, which is $100 for, you get 2 figures and a buttload of parts. You know, the Gaspar Garwich one, not as great. If you're into Cosmic, there's the Cosmic Creator 2-pack from 2 years ago. That one you can actually find for cheaper than what it was at the convention. You can probably find that for like $80. It was $100 at the convention, and it's got a ton of parts that you can pop and swap and paint and customize and stuff. So, but a lot of those Legion's concepts, they just got a ton of stuff with them. So, all right, let's start on this cross here. So I'm just gonna kind of roughly do this. It doesn't have to be perfect because when it's done, I'm going to add blood to it and I'm going to make it look like he brushed it on himself, like made this cross by just taking blood and wiping it on his torso. So I don't need to be perfect on this. And this is some of my favorite kind of painting, is when it's okay to be messy because it's a little freeing. So this is kind of the opposite of staying inside the lines. This is the scribbling. So right now I'm kind of channeling my inner sister and doing some scribbling here. So, but I am going to start relatively clean at first and then get less clean as it goes. It's easier to mess something up, starting clean, than it is to try to straighten it up and clean it up after you start messy. So start clean and messy. Once again, I'm not dealing with a flat surface on this like the Sir Gerard or the normal Templar torsos. So it's, hard to get like a straight line, but it's okay because I'm not really, the end product is not going to be a straight line anyway. So it's okay. Okay. So got the initial line on here. And now using this as the example, trying to figure out where it needs to go across. And I would say right here, kind of at the top of this, maybe right here, needs to go across. So go ahead and start there. And then we'll see how far we need to go up or down from there. Okay, so let's take a look. So feel like it needs to go a little bit higher and then a lot lower. So this line is not centered where it needs to be. It's probably a little bit on the high side, but I still need to go a little bit higher than that even, and then quite a bit on the low sides. A little bit up top, a lot down below. And then I need to get the little arrows on here. Okay. Not too bad. Needs to be a little bit thicker. Okay. So that's kind of our starting point right there. Now what I'm going to do is go back to this one. Coda says, got to run, catch the replay for sure. Have a good one. You as well. So I'm going to go back to this one. Let me check my messages real quick because I saw. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go back to this loin piece, and I'm going to throw some paint on here just so it kind of matches what I've got on the torso. Okay. And then I've also got this shield. And let me see. So looking at his shield, the cross starts about midway in this little curve here. So let's go ahead and do that. So starting about here, and we'll go across to about there. Okay, and then from the top down. Okay, so there's my starting point. Let's get thicker brush. I'm going to go with this 0 angle brush here. And okay. Some of the black now. The outsides. to, once again, for anybody joining late, just doing some work on my community project for CarverCon. If anybody feels like popping on, there is a link to the StreamYard out in the Cabal, as well as I put it in a bunch of group chats. So if you feel like hopping on, just click that link and pop in, and you can work on whatever you have to work on, whether it's painting or customizing, pop and swaps, dial work, or if you just want to come on and hang out and talk, or come on and tell me that I'm a hack, whatever you want to do. The link is out there if you're interested. So, trying to do a rough, gritty Elf Templar for Red Shield. So, all right. So now that we've got kind of a rough layout of the cross for this and this, time to kind of mess it up, add some blood effects, make this look like he did that himself. So what I'm going to do is first look for a beat up brush that already has some red on it. So this will do the trick. And I'm going to get some red on this. And not trying to do like normally if I'm dry brushing and try to get like almost all the paint out of this, not going all that way. I still want it a little bit wet. So it's kind of a medium, like the middle ground between dry brushing and wet brushing. And I'm just kind of throwing some of this on here, making it look a little bit messy. May have even taken a little too much paint off. So those clean lines that I just did, or semi-clean lines, I'm messing them up a little bit. So here we go. Do the same thing with the shield. That black was still wet, so it kind of smeared that a little bit, but that's fine. Do some of that on the loin piece. Okay. And now I'm going to need a smaller brush, kind of similar though, that has been beat up a little bit, maybe even has some red on it. Let's see what I got here. This one doesn't have red, but this is about what I'm looking for. So, and then I'm going to, where is my blood for the blood god? Which is right here. There we go, blood for the blood god. So now I'm going to shake this thing up. We're going to get some blood on this guy. All right, there we go. So now we got some blood effect going on. And let's go ahead and start on the torso first. Just kind of bloodying that up a bit. Let's do the same on the shield. Okay. And then we'll do some of this on the loin piece. All right, now I'm gonna make some mess here. So before I do, let's try to clean up this workspace just a little bit because I don't want to get it everywhere. I'm done with this torso. I can put this back. Let's move my wet palette. This here. All right. Here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna get a clamshell. Mythic Legion clamshell, and we're going to get out a toothbrush, and we're going to do some blood spattering. So, taking the blood for the blood god, I'm going to pour some on this toothbrush. Let me get the toothbrush wet first. So. Any toothbrush will do. This one is a Reach toothbrush. Came in like a 6-pack. And what I'm going to do is take some of the blood for the blood god and pour it on that toothbrush. Okay, now I've got that thoroughly saturated. What I'm going to do is just take my finger and rub it against it, and it's going to speckle blood on this shield. So there we go. That's what that speckled blood shield looks like. I'll put that over the side. I'm going to now grab this armor. I'm going to do the same thing. Speckle blood on this armor. Okay, so that's got a lot of speckled blood on it now as well. Let's go ahead and grab his legs. Grab the waist piece as well. Put that on there. Just get a little bit more blood on this toothbrush. This is not a clean procedure. This is going to be very messy. So hence the clamshell. I'm still going to probably get some mess outside this clamshell I'm going to have to clean up, but hopefully it'll catch a lot of it. So here we go. All right. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking this very clean, glossy phalanx armor and we're making it messy. We're adding all this blood splatter to it. And yeah, just kind of messing it up. So, okay, so now I've got the upper body, got the lower body. Let's go ahead and move this out of here. Got the shield. And I'm going to add some to the loin piece. So soaking a little bit of the back in it, a little bit of the bottom of the loin piece. I'm just kind of playing at this point. So there you go. Just add a little, might even just kind of brush this a little bit around the bottom edges. Could add do some dry brush, like brown dry brushing too, for like dirt and stuff. Okay. Let's see. Get a little bit on the back and of this one as well. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get it everywhere. Hopefully, I got enough blood for the blood god to get it everywhere. So. Okay, let me hit that cross up with it. And I'm making quite the mess here, so I'm just playing at this point, folks. This is not the portion where you should be learning anything at all from me. I'm just playing around. So as if this guy already had a cross on his chest, his shield, and his soft goods. And he said, you know what? I'm going to take that cross and add the blood of my victims to it. So that's what we're doing here. But this is definitely falls in the category of scribbling. This is not, there's no plan here. There's no lines. There's no safety net. This is just taking an expensive piece of soft goods and playing around. So okay. I think that might be good for the blood gods. Let me try to just put some streaks on here and stuff. I'm going to add probably some red and brown dry brushing as well on the soft goods. Okay, put this to the side. Okay, move this to the side. Whew, look at that. Caught me red-handed, folks. You caught me red-handed. So let's try to clean some of this up before we go to the next step. So alcohol swabs for the win. Let's see, what is... Can't pull up the comment because of my bloody hands, but speaking of soft goods, do you think Darla would be willing to share a pattern for a cape when I get my mom involved in making capes for personal use? So if you go to my playlist, I've got a playlist on this channel, and there's one that's called How'd They Do That? And in that How'd They Do That series, there's one that I talked to Darla, and she talks about how she goes about making a pattern, what wire that she uses, how she makes it. All the information is there. So you should be able to get everything that you need from that video. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I can run it by her and see if I can get an answer. But yeah, everything you should need is in that video. The biggest thing is getting the right wire is one of the biggest, and that is definitely in there. Which they did just raise the prices of them at Hobby Lobby, the one that we have found that works the best. But you know, I guess prices of everything is kind of going up. So yep, no problem. One of the best thing you taught me, keep alcohol swabs handy. Yeah, dude, they are a lifesaver. I love these things. So, but this blood for the blood god is no joke, man. It gets everywhere. So, all right. At least while I'm doing this, that stuff that I just did is drying a little bit, so that's good. Oh no, I just noticed over on the Joker that I had been working on, he's got a big old blood spot on the side of his head. That's not good at all. That's very bad. Let me see if I can get that off real quick. Because he was nearly done. Can't go having a big old blood splatter on the side of his head. I did clear coat his head recently, so hopefully that keeps the other paint from coming off when I'm trying to clean this. This is what happens, folks, when you don't keep your desk clean. Well, I think for the most part I got it. Looks like I'm going to need to touch up his hair a little bit, but that is not as big a concern as if I had to touch up the skin tone, because that skin tone is multiple layers of different colors. So yeah, I think I just have to touch up his hair. So if that's the case, I'm going to consider that a success. So yeah, that was scary, folks. That was scary. Gotta be careful when you're doing stuff like that. Blood for the blood, guys, man. It gets everywhere, even if you try to contain it. So all right. Crisis averted, folks. Crisis averted. But I'm looking around now, and I got blood on my water bottle. I got blood on my bag of sponges. I got blood on my paint bottles. So, yeah. It's messy stuff, folks. Messy stuff. Be careful. Not for the faint of heart. All right. Not clean, but clean enough. So, okay. Let's bring the wet palette back over here. Put those in there. Let's get the wet palette back over. Got a little bit of my paint into the water, which is not great, but it's all right. All right, so what we want to do is throw some of this burnt sienna in here. Gonna mix some red and black with it as well. Let's go ahead and use this big old brush. Take some of this black. Oh, that was silver. We don't want silver. Scratch that. Take some of this black, some of this red, and the brown. We're making just a dark, dirty, bloody stain. Okay. Let's move this guy over here. Move this over here. Move this guy over there. And move the shield over here. All right. So now we need some more red in here. So we got red, brown, black, making this kind of reddish brown mess. We're going to start adding some of that to the soft goods. So I'm just kind of staining the soft goods here. Bottom of the cape. He's been tracking through mud and getting nastiness on him. And all we're really doing is going from clean to gross on this. So clean to gross. Messier the better. No rhyme or reason, just kind of dirtying it up. All right. Here's that. Let's get the loin piece. Do the same kind of thing. Definitely hit the bottom. Bottom is going to catch the most dirt and nastiness. And then the sides. All right, so get some dirt, grime, blood, nastiness. There we go. Let's mix some more of that up. Brown, red, black. Okay, now I'm going to be doing some dry brushing. So now I do want to get a good portion of this off. Not all, but there we go. So, and what I'm going to do here is just kind of hit the, especially like the feet, the lower legs, you know, that kind of thing. So dirtying up a little. There you go. So you still got blood and guts and splatter in here. Now he's got a little bit of brown on his boots and stuff. Okay. Kind of gross. Same thing with the waist piece here. Let's get some nastiness on this. Cool. A little bit on his, like his gauntlets and stuff. It's basically like dried mud and blood and all the uds. And once you're in the scribbling, outside the lines mode, it's almost like the messier the better. Like making mistakes kind of makes it look better. So there is something, I typically love a good clean aesthetic, but sometimes being messy can be a little fun. So, and let's get the shield. Same kind of thing. We're gonna focus on on the bottom part of it. go. We need some more blood for the blood gods on this collar piece. I forgot about that. Come on, stay open. Doesn't want to stay open for me. Throw some of this right here. There we go. Let that dry. Okay. And I think might be good on that. Let me just take a look at the soft goods again. Might need to add a little bit more nastiness. This one, yeah, I could use a little bit more nasty. It kind of dries a little bit and doesn't show as much. So you really kind of got to go heavy-handed on the soft goods. So there you go, a little heavier handed. Let's take a look at the shield, or the cape. Look at the cape. Cape stayed a little dirty, but I think we could add some more grime to this, especially at the bottom. Give me some room here. Close this blood for the blood gods. Let's see. Hello Heart Legacy says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Amateur Hour 24/7 is looking for a weathering tutorial for capes. Looks like I came to the right place. Yeah, I'm just kind of dirtying it up right now. Like, I'm not tattering it or anything, but there's definitely some stuff out there where you can kind of cut them or burn them a little bit. I'm just added some dirt and blood. But it when it dries dark, and this is a black cape, so I think I got to go lighter on this. So I'm gonna try mixing maybe a burnt sienna with the red. Maybe not go so dark. That way maybe this will show up a little bit more. Probably do some Mournfang brown. There we go. Now we got more of a reddish brown. Let's try some of this. Hopefully when this dries, it'll dry just dark enough that it shows, but kind of blends in a little bit. Definitely getting some paint on my workstation, but that's all right. Today's not about being clean. Today is about getting the job done. All right. Let's see. Want to weather the cape on an InArc battle damage Arkham Batman when it releases. Does the paint make it stiff or crunchy? No, it really doesn't. Let's see. Is that one of Darla capes? No, this is, I believe, Harker Customs cape. So I don't know that he still makes them. This is from years ago. So, but. All right. I'm going to call that good. So put that over here to dry. Look at this loin piece again. Probably need to add a little bit more to this. All right. I think that's probably good. So here's the body, waist piece. Let's see if we can't pop this thing back together. I think I'm going to need to clear coat this. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to put it together on the stream because I'm going to need to throw a matte coat on this. Probably just pop all this together, spray this whole thing down, then put the soft goods on and go from there. So let's see. So there's that. This is the neck piece. There we go. Spray that head down. This is the head that we did for it. Yeah, he's going to be a nasty boy. So yeah, I'll go and spray this down with a super clear matte coat. That's going to be his loin piece. We've got the cape here. And then and the shield. There's the shield. I do need a weapon for him. That is one thing I did not take a look at. I wonder what kind of weapon we want to get this guy. Spears. I've got spears, maces, and pauldrons here. Let's take a look. Let's see. Do one of these guys. try this. Let's add a little dry brushing on this. And then let's give it a little blood splatter. Let's see. Put this back on. And let's move this head out of the way. We don't need to get blood on our head. Oh shit, we need our pauldrons too. Damn it, people. What are you doing? Not reminding me that I need to get the pauldrons out. We're gonna have this guy all dirty and bloodied up, and then he's gonna have brand new, clean pauldrons. Come on, people. Yeah, keep me on track. Darla apologized on behalf of everybody. So she said she can't believe that I'm blaming you guys, but come on, you know better. All right, let's get a little dry brush on here. Brush on this one. All right, now let's get some splatter. Let's see, Night Elf Mohawk. Yeah, sure. This does look like a crime scene. It does. It looks bad right now. And then Amateur Hour says, "Hey, Darla, happy Monday." I might definitely need some more blood for the blood gods. I've used a lot of it today. All right, here we go. Okay, let's move these pauldrons over to the side somewhere. Put that one here, put this one here. Don't touch any of the stuff that it's not supposed to touch. All right. Let's see. I need another something that I'm looking for. If I could find it, I'll show you guys a little trick. Hold on one second. All right. You guys ready to see a trick? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you want to see a trick. Do it. Okay. All right. So here we've got some plumber's tape. Okay. And you use this when you're putting, threaded pieces together for plumbing so that you have a really nice tight seal and no water leaks out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of this off. So got a little piece of the plumber's tape, and I'm just going to twist this up. So twisting it up. Okay. So I got a little twisted piece of that tape there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my blood for the blood gods, and I'm going to dip this in it. I'm just going to let that soak up in there. So let me grab my little tweezers. Should be around here somewhere. Actually, I'll just use this stick. So I'm going to soak this thing in there, get it nice and saturated. Okay. Nice and gross. And get it nice covered with that blood for the blood gods. And we are going to make a little intestine that's going to be attached to our mace here. So a little grossness wrapped around, hanging off. Now, I don't know that that's long enough, so I might need to get a bigger piece. Let's see. See if I can wrap this and make it kind of look natural. Not too bad. Now, what you can also do, take a piece of this, cut it, and I'm going to roll it up into a ball. Throw that in there. Nice and soaked. So you get this like bloody booger looking thing. And yeah, basically got like a little brain matter. So or whatever, some organ, something in there. So we're gonna get some grossness attached to this mace. All right. So that's we're going to have him wielding. So, yeah, hot glue works well. I like the plumber's tape. You can get a nice little twist on it. I feel like it kind of has a very intestine-looking look to it. I've also seen people use hot glue for water. I know Alexander Deshaw uses that for a lot of like water streams and stuff. It's a lot of the different things you can use. So. There we go. So might throw a little contrast paint on the end there too. So let's let that dry. Put this to the side. Let's see. I'm going to use one of these guys. Excuse me. There we go. Little clamp. Put this to the side and let it dry a little bit. All right. I think that's going to do it for this thing. Let me get a little blood on his belt. There you go. Throw this. Put this on here. This guy is super sticky right now. Until we hit it with the Mr. Super Clear, that is. All right. There's our gross body, loin piece, shield, pauldrons, cape, and mace. And then his head is the only thing on him that's clean. So I think that'll do it. I'm going to spray this, clear coat it, get some of the tackiness off of it, put it all back together, and then I'll take some photos, but that's pretty much going to be my community project. And then I didn't get to any of the other stuff today that I wanted to do. But I did make a mess on my desk, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. Gonna just throw this toothbrush and the tray away because that's not worth cleaning. Toothbrushes are super cheap. And then look at my mess I got on my hands. So there you go, folks. It's not often that I work dirty. I usually focus on clean, detailed lines and making everything look pristine. But today you got to see me work dirty. So hope you enjoyed it. Sorry that it was just me the whole time. No, it wasn't as interesting as if we had a bunch of other fun folks on here playing and having fun. But, you know, it is what it is. So let's see. Tanya says, I've got time for you to do more. Yeah, my desk is such a mess right now. And my hands are such a mess that I cannot physically continue. Like it's bothering me bad. So I definitely need to clean up everything, work on clear coating this figure, putting it together. And then who knows, maybe later on the day I might do some more painting. But right now I've got to do some serious cleaning. So yeah, gross stuff. That's today working gross on Customizing Studio. So she says it was awesome. I learned a lot. Listen, I don't know that this was educational because like I said, none of the stuff that I was doing is necessarily the right way to do it. It was just me playing and having fun. But if somebody picked up something from it that they can use, more power to you. So, but hope that you guys at least enjoyed it, and just keep creating, folks. Have fun, and hopefully we'll see you all at CarverCon in a few days. So until then, have fun and make stuff. Bye.